Greetings congoers, I'm Sketch and this is the first podcast for AnimeCons.com. The AnimeCons.com podcast will run monthly featuring latest news and updates from upcoming conventions across the world, convention previews and reviews, and the advice on what to expect at and how to prepare for anime conventions. Here is the latest news from the world of anime condom. Seriously? Condom? Japanese pop duo Hangry and Angry will make their U.S. premiere at Sakura-Con 2009, April 10th through the 12th at Washington State Convention and Trade Center. For more information on Hangry and Angry, visit their MySpace at myspace.com/HangryAngryUSA. And for more information at Sakura-Con, visit their website, sakuracon.org. San Japan in San Antonio, Texas, has announced the date for the 2009 convention. After a successful convention with over 3,500 total attendees for its first year, San Japan will be returning to the world-famous San Antonio Riverwalk. The San Antonio Municipal Auditorium El Tropicano Riverwalk Hotel will host the convention on the weekend of August 14th through the 16th, 2009. San Japan will be bringing back popular events introduced at the inaugural convention, including Otaku Olympics, an enduring otaku competitive event along with Annie Idol, a karaoke singing competition. Many other details, including new additional events and upcoming convention guests, will be posted over the next few months on the official San Japan website at san-japan.org. San Japan also is working with Our Lady of the Lake University Mizuumi Anime Club to sponsor a one-day anime convention. Mizuumi-Con will take place on Our Lady of the Lake campus on March 21st, 2009. Activities scheduled including a cosplay show, panels, a dealer's room, dance, rock concert, and cultural events. Industry guests currently attending are Josh Greel and Kevin Connolly. Local Japanese rock cover band Knuckle Sandwich will be performing at the convention along with Texas DJ group AV Tactics, hosting the dance. This is a charitable event with proceeds returning to the university. For more information, visit mizuumicon.san-japan.org. The fourth edition of Montreal's fan-run anime convention, Otakuthon, will take place from July 31st to August 2nd, 2009. Otakuthon 2009 will be once again held at the Palais du Congrès de Montréal. This will mark the first year that Otakuthon will be a 3-day convention. As with previous years, Otakuthon 2009 will see the return of many popular events such as the Masquerade, the Otakuthon Idol Competition, the Saturday Night Dance, and the AMV Contest Screening and Awards Show. More information as well as online pre-registration for the convention will be made available in the upcoming months on the Otakuthon's website at otakuthon.com. More updates and information will be coming in the early to mid-February. Robotech.com recently announced their first round of venues for the 2009 convention tour. Be sure to get the latest information on the Robotech or new releases of Robotech The Shadow Chronicles at these conventions. Please check Robotech.com for the current tour and updates as more conventions are added to the tour. Zenkaikon 2009 recently announced the opening of and improvements to its 2009 Dealer's Room and Artist Alley and its first guests for the 2009 show, Kevin McKeever and the Robotech Convention Tour. Zenkaikon will return for its fourth installment on November 7th through the 8th, 2009, moving into the Radisson Hotel Valley Forge in Valley Forge, Pennsylvania. Visit zenkaikon.com for more details. Centennial High School Anime Club in Elliott City, Maryland will be hosting its first ever anime convention on April 25th, 2009 called CHS Otaku Fest. This one-day convention is a celebration of all things anime and otaku. Those interested in attending, becoming a sponsor, dealer, panelist, selling art, or advertising, please visit their website at otaku-fest.webs.com. Bishie Con, the newest convention created for fangirls who want their yaoi and boys love fix, will be held at St. Louis, Missouri, November 13th through the 15th. Bishie Con is the first boys love convention to allow fans under 18 to attend. With an unaccompanied age limit of 16, Bishie Con is able to offer a wider variety for boys love events and panels catered to a broader audience. There will be a BL manga library, panels by artists, writers, and industry leaders, a crossplay drag show, game shows, and lots of cool events that have yet to be suggested. Find out more about Bishie Con at bishiecon.com. Voice actor Steve Bloom will be joining Anime & Gaming Ohio in Cincinnati, Ohio for his first ever Ohio convention appearance. Steve is a famous voice actor of Spike from Cowboy Bebop, Roger Smith from The Big O, as well as Wolverine in various Marvel animations and games, and countless others. He will be joining fellow voice actors including Richard Epcar, Ellen Stern, and Steve Downs. Also joining them is Dan Slott, who is the current writer for The Amazing Spider-Man, but has also written for Ren and Stimpy and The Avengers: The Initiative, as well as a cosplayer Yaya Han and DM Ashura, who has been featured in various DDR games. A&G Ohio is a second-year convention based out of Cincinnati. For more information, their website is angohio.com. Anime Boston, the largest anime convention in New England, announced its first round of guests. As a mix of past favorites and new surprises, guests include voice actor Greg Ayers, industry guest David Williams, artist Robert and Emily DeJesus, Misako Rocks, and music guest Bespa Kumamiro. Anime Boston is an annual 3-day Japanese animation convention held in Boston, Massachusetts. Anime Boston 2009 will be held Friday, May 22nd through Sunday, May 24th at the Heinz Convention Center and Sheraton Boston Hotel. More information about Anime Boston can be found at animeboston.com. Anime Matsuri is celebrating its 3rd anniversary with an exciting lineup of guests, panels, and events. Anime Matsuri is proud to announce their 2009 guest list, which includes Crispin Freeman, Quentin Flynn, Stephanie Young, Lucy Christian, Chris Patton, Blake Shepard, Cynthia Rothrock, DG Heavy Grinder, Misako Rocks, Matt Miller, Lily Banks, and Gren. The final round of guests will be announced shortly, including the anticipation unveiling of their main events act. The 2009 convention will be held on Easter weekend, April 10th through the 12th, 2009, at the Woodlands Waterway Marriott Hotel and Convention Center. Please visit the website at animematsuri.com for more information. The Rochester Institute of Technology Anime Club is excited to welcome voice actor Todd Habercorn and voice actor director John Swayze into their roster of guests for this year's Tora-Con. Tora-Con will be April 25th, 2009 at the Rochester Institute of Technology in Rochester, New York. For more information, please visit their website, toracon.rit.edu. Joining me now is Patrick Delahanty, webmaster of AnimeCons.com, to talk about the 10 largest North American conventions of 2008. Patrick?
Hi, Sketch. So every year, AnimeCons.com puts together a list of the 10 largest conventions in terms of attendance.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been doing this for, I think, 5 years now. And it's not necessarily a measure of which convention is best.
Just how many people showed up.
Yes, just how many people showed up. And so it's just interesting statistics to see what the top 10 are in terms of attendance each year and how they move throughout the list in upcoming years. And so the first one, we'll start at the top because it comes as no surprise, is Anime Expo.
Well,
and this year they had 43,000 warm bodies at the convention.
That's the size of any good suburban city.
Yeah, bigger than a lot of towns there.
Yeah.
So. And number 2, like it's been for the last few years, has been Otakuthon in Baltimore, Maryland.
Just chasing the tail.
They had 26,000 some odd people.
Don't they have a cap?
They had a cap. They didn't have one this year.
Interesting.
So it allowed them to expand.
Expand a little bit. Okay.
And, also, I want to mention some of these conventions measure warm bodies. Others, like Otakuthon, measure by paid attendees. So there's some.
Whichever sounds nicer on paper.
Yeah. Some actually feel that they should only report people that paid for the convention. Others feel that everybody at the convention is there enjoying the convention, so they should count as well.
So security at the convention hall, the catering service, and everything like that.
Yeah, and some other
They're
conventions,
staffers.
Some conventions report both, and we like those a lot at AnimeCons.com because it makes it easy to compare.
Okay.
Third on the list is a newcomer to the list. It's New York Anime Festival.
Oh yeah, I heard much about this one.
They actually would have been on the list last year, but we didn't get the numbers in time. So this year they're ranked at
no complaining.
They're number 3 on the list with 18,399 warm bodies.
I just needed one more.
Yeah. Now, number 4, it's A-Con, and they usually have been number 3, but New York Anime Fest beat them out. They had about 15,000 paid attendees in 2008. Sakura-Con moves up drastically from, they were number 8 last year, now they're number 5.
3 steps, wow.
So they had 13,600 estimated paid attendees. Now, this is a little bit of an odd one.
Yeah.
Because number 6 is Anime Boston with 14,339 warm bodies. And those of you who know math may know 14,000 is larger than 13,000.
I am smart.
But Anime Boston's reported numbers were 14,339 warm bodies, whereas Sakura-Con had paid attendees. So if you counted the warm bodies, there would likely be more warm bodies at Sakura-Con. Anime Boston also reported paid attendees, which is 13,248, which is lower than Sakura-Con's
so
paid
unpaid,
attendees.
okay.
So on paid attendees, Anime Boston is lower. For number 7 this year is Anime Central with 13,900 warm bodies. Anime North drops down to number 8 this year with 13,300 warm bodies.
Where were they before?
They were number 4 last year.
That's a big drop.
And they still had more attendees than they did last year, so they did grow, but just
not compared
not as much as
not to compare to New York Anime Fair, you know.
Yeah, and so in coming years they may grow more. And the ranks from number 5 through 8, 9 tend to shift around a lot.
Okay.
Because they're all so close. They're all in the 13,000, 14,000 range this year. Next year they'll probably all be 15,000.
That's a lot of nerds in one place.
And so at number 9 this year we have AnimeCon with an estimated 13,000 warm bodies. And rounding out the list at number 10 is Anime Weekend Atlanta.
Oh, wow.
11,101 paid attendees.
That's a very accurate number.
Yeah.
What were they last time?
I don't have the numbers for last year. They were under 10,000, I know that.
No. Yeah, all the top 10 are above 10,000 this year.
This is actually the first year that's happened. And so I think it's a sign that conventions are still growing. The number of conventions has only gone up 4 since last year.
Wow. What was the year before?
There's about 250 conventions. This year, 2008 there were 257, I believe, and there were 253 the year before.
Okay.
So it's the number of conventions isn't changing that much, but the attendance is going up a bit. So there we have it.
There we do.
10 largest anime conventions of 2008.
One segment that will appear regularly on the AnimeCons.com podcast is Q&A. This is your chance to ask us questions you may have about anime conventions. Our first questions we had to make up for an example. Should I do the Haruhi dance for my masquerade skit?
No, unless you have a giant robot.
Yes! Okay, that was just a farce. A good question we would have is, which anime convention should I go to first? And here to answer the question is Elizabeth O'Malley.
Thanks, Sketch. So you're ready to go to your first convention, but don't know where to go. It may be tempting to want to first go to one of the big name conventions that everyone talks about. However, it is much easier to find a smaller convention in your area that has a lower cost and less craziness. Plus, you don't have to worry about expensive plane tickets and other travel costs, and it's easier to convince your friends to come along when the convention is closer. Unless the opportunity comes to you, say a few of your friends invite you to go, when you're going to your first convention, one that is close to you is a great place to start. Sketch, what was your first anime convention?
Anime Boston. But when Anime Boston first started out, it was a small convention of 5,000 people or so, but...
Many people. Mine was Tora-Con, which kind of goes against my advice. But, like I said, my friend invited me, so I'm like, why not? I'll go to a big convention.
Well, I mean, after Anime Boston, I actually went to other smaller ones and sampled all the variety and sizes. But yeah, either way, a mid-size or a small one's really good to start with.
Definitely is. You can find conventions near you by using the AnimeCons.com convention map found on AnimeCons.com. Use the map and zoom into where you live, and then see which blue dots are closest to you. Say you live in southern Minnesota, for example.
Or Utah. Wait, what? Never mind.
Oh. If you look at the map, you will see a convention in St. Paul. There was one in Minneapolis, but it was unfortunately canceled. There's also one in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. That doesn't look like too far of a drive. There are also 2 in Milwaukee if you like to take a good road trip. Or you can make the hike down to Chicago for Anime Central, a good-sized con, about 15,000 people. Also check out the 2008 map to see if there are any other conventions for 2009 that haven't been announced yet. Here you will see Sogen-Con in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and Anime Iowa in Coralville, Iowa. Now you have a few choices, but it would probably be best to go to one that's closest to you, which would be Anime Detour. It's been around for a few years, so you can find out information about past conventions on their website and on their forums. Anime Detour sounds like the best place for you to start your con experience. But say you lived a little more to the northeast and No Brand Con was just as close. How would you decide which one to go to first if the distance was about the same? If you can go to both, go to both. Sketch and I go to way too many conventions every year.
I'm a con whore.
Yeah, me too. And then Anime Detour would be your first convention since it's earlier in the year. But if you can only afford to go to one convention, that's okay. I only used to go to one convention a year before, while I was a student. Now I have a job and money and spend too much of it on conventions.
And vacation time.
Yes, vacation time. Now you have to compare the costs for badges, a hotel if you need one, and transportation. If they're about the same, check out the guest list and see if there's someone that you really want to see. Check out their websites to see what events they have, and see what appeals to you the most.
Scott McNeil?
Also see what convention the size their convention is. If you would rather attend a small convention, No Brand Con would be a better option for you. If you want to attend a mid-sized con with a few thousand people, then choose the Anime Detour. You may also want to look into attending for the convention for just one day. Probably a Saturday because that day usually has the most events.
The Masquerade.
Yes. If there's a convention that you wouldn't mind driving to and from in one day, a one-day trip is a good way to get one's feet wet in the world of convention-dom.
You mean condom?
No. After I attended Otakuthon, the next convention I went to was Anime Boston, and since I'm very local, I just took the TN for one day on a Saturday, and I thought it was a good way to experience Anime Boston without the massive expense of hotels and parking and things like that.
I slept on my friend's floor at his apartment and then used the public transportation subway dressed as Vash the Stampede.
Awesome. I hope you scared people.
Yeah, people say, is that a real gun?
Yes, it is.
Anyway.
Whether you choose to go to a local con for one day or attend one of the big ones across the country, remember to plan well. In further podcasts, we will be telling you how to prepare for conventions and what to expect at conventions. But the most important thing is to have fun.
Yay!
Yay, fun! Enjoy your first convention.
If you would like to submit a question to AnimeCons.com, please email us at podcast@AnimeCons.com. Upcoming conventions. One segment that will appear regularly on the AnimeCons.com podcast is Q&A. Hey! It's not doing... Oh, okay. Stop. Reverse.
What's with this thing?
What's with what thing? Sketch and I go to a ton of conventions every year because we're crazy like that. Then Anime Detour would be your first convention. Damn it.
I was going to say, I'm a con whore, but I wasn't sure if I could say that yet. Okay.
Dance. Oh, so...
Bishie Con.